What is good, everybody? They say it couldn't be done, and yet here we are, live on stream, 9 a.m. PST, if I have to just reiterate. Chad, I have to confess, mistakes were made. I originally set the time for the stream to the wrong time. Many of you were here waiting, while I was sleeping. Yes. But of course, here we are today. Thank you all for joining me. We do this once a month. These are our track review streams brought to you by our channel members. Those are all the cool people with the badges next to their names. Those, I would say, are some of my biggest supporters. Those who have taken the extra step to hit the join button and support the channel. Part of the perks of being one of those channel members is being able to submit your music to this stream every month. How's that background music? Too loud? Probably. Been a while since we've done one of these streams. It's the first one of the year. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. If you are new here, let us know. If it's your first live stream, would love to welcome you. I know there's a lot of returning members in chat that I can see. If you're curious about how all this works and you just want to hang back and watch, that's fine too. If you are a new member, or if you're going to become a new member, the way you submit music is via Discord. All you have to do is type in !new member in chat like I just did, and that will give you all of the instructions on how to submit music today. It's basically you end up going into Discord, you open up Discord, you connect your YouTube account from within Discord, and then you will be automatically in our server. I will say the biggest mistake that people make is when they do that process, they connect the wrong YouTube account, because usually some people have 1 or 2 Gmail accounts, Google accounts, which usually amounts to a separate YouTube account, and they connect the wrong one and they're like, what the heck, I can't get into the server. But you just want to make sure you're using the same account that it shows you as in chat. That name, that profile picture, that's what you're looking for. So when you want to join, hit that join button down below. And we have a ton of music to listen to. Let me just bring that up really quick. So if I go into our Discord server, and how are you all? What is new? Where are you watching from? That's what I want to know. But if I go into this channel really quick on our server, you will see, this is where the submissions start. Some people jumped right on it a few days ago. As I scroll, we have a lot of music to listen to today, already submitted. We will eventually cap this. We usually go for about 3 hours, which is the amount of time that I can go for, review music thoughtfully, and not get some like ear fatigue, you know? Yes, including your YouTube name in the submission is necessary. So if you did not include your YouTube name in your submission, like Pilgrim of Light did, even though it's your same name in Discord, please go and do that. Just like this. My YouTube is boom, right there. Many people following directions. You can go back in and edit your post though. Because I set the wrong time, I'll be a little more lenient with like if people are here or not here. I'll try to be. All right, who is that? Let me zoom in on my screen here. And thank you all for being here. Hello to all my members. Hello to all the new folks. Hello to Choi Chang Yan. I'm gonna say yo. Sean Ray, hello. First time from Bruised Beats. Let me see. Did anybody else put first time? Good day to Lo-Fi in Space. Bruised Beats, welcome. Thank you for being here for your first time. Thank you all who are joining. Good question in the chat, actually, from Zello. Would I be able to submit a song that I haven't fully finished? And that is a good point, because that is something that I saw coming up in the Discord. How's our volume today, by the way? I don't know if what I just did changed anything, but it shouldn't. I saw this conversation come up in the Discord when I posted that we were looking for submissions, but People were debating whether or not to submit, a finished song or an unfinished song. And I think both are fine. I think since this is meant to be a feedback stream, like you're meant to get feedback, of course I can give you feedback on a track you've already released, and you can apply that feedback to your next track. But if I was taking advantage of this opportunity, I would probably submit a track that was just a little bit close to being finished, but not quite finished. TAETRO, it says YouTube behind the link. Want me to edit? I don't know. What does that mean? Did I mess something up? It should be fine. Pilgrim of Light, unless I mess something up. Hello, Boris G. Dylan J says, I'm a recent sub. Thanks for the content so far. I'm enjoying the tutorials, but can there be more colored hats? It's a very specific request. That's true. I haven't worn the yellow hat in a while. I'm ready with my bottle of wine to listen to all of your amazing work and feel inadequate, but hopefully more inspired. Yes, hopefully you can feel more inspired. And that is a good point as well, because I want to reiterate this at the top of every track review stream, but we get people submitting music that have been making music for years. We get people that have been making music for months, people that have been making music for days, weeks. And we're not really here to roast anybody based on that, but we're here to hopefully give constructive feedback to at whatever level you're at. So obviously, if you are not at the level of a Grammy Award-winning producer, I'm not going to judge you as if you are. I'm going to give you constructive points, and chat will support you as well in that too. We're judging everybody's music accordingly, according to where you're at in your musical journey. And that is the vibe I would like to keep even for chat. So if you are here in chat, of course, if the first thing I see from somebody is like something kind of rough on the criticism angle and isn't too constructive, but it's just kind of a negative criticism, I'll probably put you in timeout. Let's try to talk about things that we like and things that we think can improve, and the way we phrase particular things is actually really important. Just keep that in mind for today. We should let people know that we are live, because I know there was some confusion, which is my fault. So let's blast this off. If any of you are on Twitter, a little help getting this out there would be helpful with a retweet. I'll say, I need to hear your music. Join us now for our monthly track review live. I always like to put the red dot here. Boom, we're live. Join us. I'm tweeting that. If you have Twitter and you are able to, help me out with a retweet on that so more people can find us and more people can participate. Our community can grow and grow and grow. Speed Limit Challenge, thank you for joining the community. Welcome back. Faded, thank you for the 7 months. What's good, bro? Thank you, Faded. Keep me in check on the levels. I know sometimes I get the levels a little wrong where my voice is too soft or too loud compared to the music. We'll try to keep that in check. Tetralogy says my song is like the 3rd song ever, so everyone can keep that in mind. Yep. And when you do your submission in Discord, you can of course feel free to add whatever context you want. Now, when I say add context, I will roast you if you are making excuses. Oh, I did this, but I could only do XYZ because I only had XYZ, blah, 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 blah. No, I don't want to hear the excuses. Just show us what you got. Give us a little context. You want to tell us a little bit about making it. Sometimes people are I don't need to do what I'm doing right now. Sometimes people are like interested in a particular sound in your track or whatever. So there will usually be questions in chat if people are interested in that. So if you want to be around in chat to also answer those questions, that is great too. But let's kick things off. We got a cool beat, what I assume will be a cool beat, from our friend Akira Gold. The first submission, a brave soul here.
Of course, I hope you realize this iteration has far more to it than a shivering facade.
Spooky. How we doing on levels, folks? It's a bit cyberpunky, which makes sense. I'm gonna keep listening, but I'm gonna bring something over that's relevant. Like foreboding. Bishop is hacking the mainframe, and we're in. Says Resident Evil movie. Fantastic. Shout out to Akira Gold for submitting this beat. Very cool. I think one of the things I liked about it, and I saw a couple questions in chat, like how do I find a lo-fi melody and stuff, like people who have musical questions today. This is a good stream to be tuning into. So though I might not call out your question exactly, what we are going to do is discuss the music that's submitted and talk about what we like, what we don't like, and that is going to inadvertently answer your question. So if we're not exactly diving down your question, a specific subject, you are still able to get the answers to those questions, if that makes sense, from the content of today's stream. And on that note, one thing I would like to compliment Akira Gold on here is the arrangement, because it stays a very kind of low-key, mellow vibe. It still has an energy to it, but it never departs from its very specific mood and feel. And when few of you were making references in chat, I think that's a good sign because you can all relate it to something. It sounds like it belongs somewhere. It belongs with, and with the Akira visuals in the background, kind of nailed a specific vibe. What is vibe? That is a good question. What is vibe? I think vibe is the overall mood, the overall world, the overall tone set by a track. So if I had to describe this vibe, it's kind of like dark, foreboding, but still it's a bit suspenseful, right? Atmosphere, that's a good word. Thank you, Boris G. It's the atmosphere of a track. So it absolutely nailed the atmosphere with sound selection, with the arrangement, because it is fairly simple musical elements, but the way they're brought in and out is effective and gets us to that 2:38 mark. It's a fully realized track. It's not too short. It doesn't overstay its welcome. There is something that I always point out when I talk about tracks and people do the auto pan thing when they're bouncing between left and right, and usually I'm harsh and criticize that a lot, but I think in the context of this track with that synth, it moving around you really makes sense for this track, and it's not distracting, it's contributing. And I just wanted to bring this over really quick. My VHS, my Akira VHS. For my little TV that y'all know I have that has a VHS built into it. Now, what I will say is this has a price tag on it. Let me see if y'all can even read that. Can you see the Goodwill price tag and what it says there? I'm not sure if you'll be able to read that on stream. It does say 49 cents. Somebody bought this on at Goodwill for 49 cents. I bought this for $40. So I think they made quite the profit. But this is a great, and this is not one of our submissions. Pause that. But this is one of my favorite movies. I'm not super into anime. I am super into like cyberpunk themes and things like that. But Akira is a great movie. I also have Ghost in the Shell on VHS. And I'm currently deep in my second playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know if any of you play that, but I'm having a great time nonstop playing that. Let's keep it moving. We have lots of submissions to get to today, and more people are submitting as we go. So I have to acknowledge a couple things. Camilo C, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining. Thank you for submitting. And then I missed another member milestone chat. Essie says, member for 12 months. Can't believe it's been a year already and how much I've advanced just from this community. Thank you for the 12 months as a year support. Means a lot. I also want to shout out and say, actually, let me see here on my Twitter. Did you all see that I have started to put credits on the videos? So I'm able to export a list of members, and I'm putting them at the end of the videos now. So usually, like right when I finish editing a video, I pull a list. So sometimes your name might not make the list depending on when that time is. So if you don't see it in one video, you'll probably see it in the next video. More net running or more street brawler. I am a like stealth assassin. Yes, Jose, Ghost in the Shell is actually another, is the other anime VHS tape that I have. It's really good. I also like the American movie version. I don't think it's so bad. Okay. Let's do this. Where am I at? What am I supposed to be doing? Here we go. Our next track is called Lifted by Zonification. What's up, Yurik? I should say other members, you also have a member milestone chat if you want to get something out in chat. That's a free super chat you got. Take advantage if you want. Perfect beat to drink my coffee too. A little bit of peeking on the left, though. I'm getting like SB404 vibes here. The chord progression is definitely a highlight here. Ooh. Thank you, Zonification, for submitting that track. Let's talk about it. First of all, I'm going to assume that this is live guitar and not a sample. I'm going to assume that this is somebody playing the guitar. And like I said, chord progression is for sure a highlight. And they did write in Discord, lo-fi R&B, which I think the chord progression is giving R&B, which I think is cool. So that is really nice. And I think a lot of that percussion stuff, we've got the chimes, we've got that shaker kind of moving around. I think that shaker could be a little more gentle and a little more feeling it with the music, you know, a little slower on the dynamics, which is tough to do. But I think where it suffers the most is the arrangement, because there's a lot of cool things that happen in the track, but the sequence in which they happen, or the time it takes for them to happen, doesn't really make a lot of sense. So one thing is, like, I think the intro is like pretty long. The intro is probably about twice as long as it needs to be, because we don't get really anything else that first time it happens, and then we have it happen again. Not only that, but I hear like a ducking on the downbeat, which is weird, like the sample's starting there. I don't know if the attack is turned up too high on that sample, or if the sidechain kick was imprinted on there. So intro is about twice as long as it needs to be. It takes us about 48 seconds. About 48 seconds to get a kick. I would get that kick in there, because once it's here and we're able to bob our head, once I do start bobbing my head, I'm feeling good. Zonification says crossfade was having a click sound. Yeah, I would just do as little as possible on that. You can get away with like with very low milliseconds of higher attack to get rid of that click sound. But listen, there is another click sound that happens there. Here. It's a click sound right there you got to take care of. I would take care of that. Then we go into that filtered section, which is fine. I think it could be something a little more interesting to create a B section, because we are still keeping the chord progression. Even though the chord progression is good, it's kind of like, okay, it's been going a while. And then we're here again. So like we went to this mellow section, and then we went to just basic chord and backbeat again, which is kind of underwhelming. And it's underwhelming until we get here, which is really cool. I really love the inclusion of the voices. So like, I think there's an arrangement here where we can trim some of the fat and get to some of the cooler stuff quicker, and it will feel like more of a natural progression through the song. What I will say is when that voice comes in, though I do like it as an element, I do like it like as an element that adds to everything else. I think it fits really well with the guitar, the drums, the bass, and the vocal singing. Let's listen to the chord pattern on here, because this is something we should all be thinking about in our music, is keeping things interesting. So basically everything, well, the bass is beautiful, first of all. The bass is the most interesting thing there. But everything else is very clearly like landing on a downbeat from the guitar. Dun, 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 dun. And then the vocal chords are going, But I think the vocals had an opportunity to overhang that chordal rhythm. So instead of everything landing on a downbeat, some notes in those vocal harmonies could be stretched over. So maybe some change and some top notes stay. That way it doesn't feel like everything is marching together. You know how it goes? But Zonification, a lot of very cool elements here. I think there's just some mixing stuff to take care of. Couple arrangement notes there, but in terms of all the elements and cool musical ideas, from the bass to the guitar to the vocal stuff, I think you are on the right track. Oh, and the percussion, let me not forget. But you are in the right direction. I think it's really, really cool. Thank you for submitting that track. I want to answer a couple questions and honor a couple of super chats. Ozone Chamber said, thank you for the 11 months. Snickerdoodles, welcome to the community. Thank you for joining us. Mary, thank you for being here and trying to get involved. The number one thing, advice I have for all of you, everybody in doing music, doing technology, anything at all, is just assume that you are the one having the issue and that it is not a problem with the process, because over 300 people have figured out how to become a member and how to submit music. So Mary, it is a straight line process. There is a join button below the video. Unfortunately for some, it will not be available in your region. I don't control that, only YouTube controls that. So if you don't see a join button below the video, it might be unavailable to you, and I apologize for that. Other than that, once you do join at any tier, you are able to go into Discord and connect your account, your YouTube account to your Discord account and join the server. It is very straightforward, and I appreciate Bishop and others for jumping in and trying to help out. So, I missed it for Discord. What happened? Just real quick, I'll touch on this one more time. Once you are a member, you can type !new member into chat. There are explicit directions there. You must read these directions. If you do not read these directions, I will know, because you will be spamming chat. How do I join the Discord? It's not working. I will know for a fact that you didn't read these directions, because these directions are very explicit. Of course, you'll click this link. You're not a streamer, so you're not going to click for streamers. You're going to find for viewers. How do I join a members only channel? And there's the exact directions to do that. All right there. Does a track always need bass? I couldn't say always. I might not say always, but usually I would say. No worries, James. No worries, no worries, no worries. The button doesn't take me to a place that I can join in the community. I'm sorry. If you have the join button, you should be at a place where you can join as a member at any tier. If you can't find that, it might not be available in your region. Let's keep the show going. We've been through 2 of our many tracks that we have to get through today. We got ZR White Whisker in the house with a video performance on the launch pad X and launch key.
Now, gentlemen, you have your instructor.
Ooh. Beatbox. Not sold on the guitar melody. White Whisker, thank you for submitting that. That's a beautiful sound right there. I'm very curious to know what sound that is. That is a very cool keyboard sound. Let's talk about it. First of all, killed it with the visuals, showing us every part. And also good use of the launchpad with the custom mode. Okay, for me, the keyboard sound and the drums are beautiful, and the bass. Everything about the guitar sample does not fit to me. The guitar sample sticks out in not a good way. In fact, if I lower this all the way, the one thing you can all probably still hear is the guitar. So at one end, it's a mixing issue, but I also think it's a musical issue. I don't think the phrases the guitar is playing are that good. I think that reverse thing is kind of good, and there are little clips of that phrase there that are good. So I think bringing it down in the mix, but finding just a few better chops. And then when we get to this point, the track goes a little off the rails to me. I don't think this guitar part fits at all.
Get ready.
Dun, dun. I don't think that's meshing well with the chord progression that's going on with the keys. And that arpeggiated chord, I go back and forth with whether I like it or not, because it's kind of this unresolved 2-chord chord progression. And they're played in root position and they're arpeggiated. But when we get here and the chord progression starts resolving as part of the ending, I think it's really good because we finally get that resolution. So I'm all for having an unresolved chord progression. I think it can work fine, but I think meshing against that guitar, it's not working. Think of how all the elements sound compared to the guitar. The guitar just sounds like pretty dry.
Get ready.
Yeah, I would take out the guitar, but I do like the general arrangement of the track. You've got a clear A and B section, beginning and end. I do like the drum sound. I think we just got to refine those musical ideas. So, part of those, yeah, it's so hard because part of that melody works really well, and then part of it kind of goes off the rails. And then for the second part, dun, dun, I just don't love that. Okay, but thank you for that submission, White Whisker. That was pretty good. I think it can be just refined a little bit. Is that a custom MIDI controller? It's not a custom MIDI controller. This is, well, that you've made. He actually probably did build this, but this is by a company called Beatbox, or Rhythmo Labs is the name of the company, but this is called a Beatbox, and you can get one of these and build it yourself. I've got a couple. They've got a cardboard version, and they've got the plastic version, which is cool. Not last Beattober, but the Beattober, I'm dying. The Beattober before that, we built one on stream. How to submit a track. The directions are pinned to the chat. I'm just going to kind of be ignoring that question for now. Somebody was typing about, oh, I connected my Discord and my YouTube. Yeah, RIP Karma, you connected your Discord and your YouTube, but you are not a channel member. So you will not see the server until you become a channel member. How can I make my music sound happy? Maybe people in chat can jump in with thoughts about that. But a major key helps in a lot of ways. And maybe it's worth finding a happy song that you like and just writing down all of the elements that you think contribute to making it sound happy. An uplifting chord progression, you know? Not just major chords, but playing in a major key and resolving to major. It's helpful. Bright elements, usually, but different things make different people happy. Snickerdoodles, double check those directions, do it from within Discord, and make sure you are signed in with the correct Google account. That is the number one thing I can say. That is the only thing I can do and help for you. Minor doesn't always equal sad, Pierre. Piccolo Black, what's good? Made this during Beattober, went back to add to it. Want to release it? Any thoughts? Welcome. Sweet. Piccolo Black, tell us about your mixing and mastering process in chat. Flute, perfect, perfect. Cool. Piccolo Black, thank you for submitting this track. It is very cool. I think I'll have some feedback, but I think if this is your creative vision and you're feeling good about it and you're ready to go, I think you should go for it and drop it as is if that is what you want. But I'll give you my 2 cents. First of all, the sound selection is beautiful. The way you sampled some of these sounds is great. The introduction of the different elements, like that top line melody. The drums sound gritty and dirty in a beautiful way. We go to this mellow section where we introduce these bells. So a really important thing to point out here is like the introduction of the flute there, like pretty much directly at the midpoint. Let me look at that for a second. It's like nearly the middle, because before we had all these kind of sampled keyboard sounds for the most part, right? And then eventually we get this kind of clean sounding, beautiful flute sound. It's just the right thing at the right moment to say like, oh, we wonder where this is going now. From a mixing perspective, some of the sounds you've chosen will be challenging to mix because they will all cross over each other in the mid-range. So when it comes to some of the bells, let me find a spot. Like there's some ringing, especially on the left side. That's maybe a little bit too much, that you can maybe do a little bit of like a dynamic EQ and pull out some of the harsher mid-rangey frequencies that are probably conflicting with other things. It's always a challenge with lo-fi music because a lot of things are passing through the mid-range. Well, pretty much everything is. But here's my existential question for you, Piccolo Black. There's this transition at the end here where it becomes like, okay, we've arrived at the gates to the mystical kingdom and we are about to do the final battle or whatever. But we don't have the final epic driving ending where it's like these drums here before, this drum group is fantastic. Finally, we bring in all these other epic elements here with the flute and everything. So why isn't it this plus like a final giant chorus here at the end. Instead of kind of fizzling out, I would say, you get about a little less than a minute here of just orchestration, which I think is fine. I think is good. If that's your creative vision and you're like being deliberate, you're like, I want this beautiful sound at the end. I want this beautiful collection of sound at the end with no driving beat. But I think as a listener, I was looking for the final like thing that I can bop my head to, you know? And then maybe like this comes after that. Because it does make a great outro, but it's an outro before we got the thing we've been waiting for, I guess is what I would say. But like I said, if this is your creative vision and this is how you want it and you specifically don't want that, that's fine too. That's your creative vision. That's what makes the world go round. But this track is nearly ready. If it was the choice between you agonizing over it for 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks before it actually gets put out, or it gets put out this week, I would say put it out this week. Or if you felt like, oh, it's missing something, or it really needs a little something else. If you already felt that way, I would consider some of that feedback. But if you felt like, dang, I love this track how it is, put it out. And that is my advice. Thank you, Piccolo Black. Great submission, as usual. Well done. People really seem to dig it, too. All right, Alja is up next. Until the Sun Came Out. Folks, if you can take a second to like the stream, it helps more people find it. I really appreciate that. Thank you all for joining us today. Wondering where all the high end is. Thank you, boss.
Until the sun came out.
Alja, cool song for sure. It gets a little rushed there at the end though. The one thing I was thinking throughout this song is, where is the high end? It sounds like there is a high cut on the whole thing where nothing is getting above 10 kilohertz or even more. which is odd. Which would be fine, I think, if it was a lo-fi track and you were specifically going for that sound. But this is a track with all these sparkly synths and that nice, almost like breathy kind of vocal with a great hook. But it sounds like everything is kind of filtered, and what's happening is all these bright, what should be ear candy synths are kind of all summing up in this one spot that's making them clash. So you have the cool chords dun, 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 that have cool stutters happening. Even that cool gestural thing. Let me just listen to that back real quick. Kick is like super loud, and then there should be like a deep sub feeling of a bass here, but there really isn't quite that. So my point here is you have a great song here, essentially. Like, I think you didn't really do much of a bridge, and then the last chorus is like super short compared to how many other times the hook happened, and it doesn't really transform as much as it should. But mixing is your number one task to get to the next level. Like, really head down, watching as many mixing tutorials as possible, potentially even taking a mixing class or something, because you've got good elements, but they are kind of trapped in this more amateur sounding mix, where you could take your listener on a much more emotional journey with better mixing, letting some of that ear candy do stuff, letting some of that high end through, really paying attention to what is in the bright high end, what is in the mid to high range, what is really holding it down as the bass, and looking at that in the context of your track. And maybe, well, you uploaded this just 2 hours ago, so this is probably a work in progress. So I would say that's the next thing to go for. Because even in the end, if you listen, like for a point, listen to this vocal come back in. When it comes back in. That vocal is for sure not the loudest thing. It's for sure the most important thing in that moment. It's the melody you want to hear. But it's kind of buried under everything else. So you get your listener kind of straining to hear the specific things. But you have the good musical ideas. So if you can refine the technical stuff, which in my mind, even though mixing is a pain, it's easier to learn technical skills. Like, it's easier to learn that A plus B equals C than it is to come up with something so subjective as, how do I write a beautiful melody, or how do I arrange a good song? So you've kind of got the subjective side down, now kind of nailed down more of the technical stuff, and it will go a lot further. Thank you, Alja, for that submission. Joshua Ho is up next in Spotify. Let's just keep it in the browser for the moment. If that works, it does work. All right, so this is a collab. Love to see that. And let me catch up on chat here. Piccolo Black says, just pulled up at my location. Thank you for all the feedback, and cheers to everyone for listening. Thank you for that submission, Piccolo Black. We were actually interested in hearing about your mixing and mastering process. If you want to share that in chat, that'd be cool. Lo-Fi in Space says, Young Gravy has a good mixing class on Skillshare. Wow. That is interesting. Young Gravy, of course, we all know, is dating Addison Rae's mom. But everybody knew that, right? All right, Joshua Ho. Better days. Okay. Turn down the lights, everybody. Grab your beverage. Put your feet up. Yeah. Let's relax to this one. Wait. I'm sorry to interrupt this beautiful track. I know exactly what Lo-Fi in Space says. Young Gravy has a good mixing class on Skillshare? No. You just made an hilarious mistake. You're thinking of a completely different producer named Young Guru. That would be Young Guru, not Young Gravy. Okay, sorry. That was very funny, Lo-Fi in Space. Thank you for that. Let's start this from the beginning. And while this track kicks off again, I'm going to run to the bathroom really quick. But I will have my speakers on and I will be able to hear it from the bathroom. I love how perfectly it blends in the folky vibes of the guitar plus voice, like almost like a Lumineer song, against the backdrop of a lo-fi chill hop beat. So, obviously, this from a mixing perspective, beautiful sound. Beautiful instrumentation too. I mean, guitar plus the beautiful strings that end up coming in. Right here, let's go like here. Even that percussion, you know, that cymbal sound is perfect. To be honest, I was hoping for a more, I guess, dramatic bridge section. It doesn't seem like the chord progression changes. The chord progression, bum bum bum, that kind of is essentially the chord progression throughout the whole thing. But what I think is interesting, what the guitar and the song elements allowed for is like a much, I think one more chord progression could have been introduced, either as a bridge or a final chorus or something, because you've got the guitar there. And the language that you're using, sort of like I was talking about, the language of like folk, acoustic, poppy kind of music, allows for the rearrangement of those chords for a new chord progression. So I was hoping it would go there because it's one chord progression throughout. So you have all this beautiful instrumentation. I wanted one level above that. One level above that. How much emotion can you build from all these beautiful elements? That is to say, it is also a beautiful song. Thank you, Joshua Ho, for submitting that tune. A vocal lo-fi single I wrote / sang and produced on with a good friend. That's great. Thank you. All right, our friend Moon Goat, our young friend Moon Goat has submitted directly to the Discord. Let's listen to this next one. Sitting around a campfire, exactly. Yeah, it does. That is another one that Joshua Ho's submission is another one that perfectly executes a specific vibe. Oh, you know what? We should add that to... We've got a community playlist that Nightbot just posted about in chat and reminded me this is a good one to add to Lo-Fi Loft. So let's do that. Community Lo-Fi playlist. All right, let's get on to the next one here. We've got Moon Goat with Lush Lo-Fi Beat. This is as loud as I got it for the moment, folks. Moongoat, tell us a little bit about the process for this track, since you're here. Out of tune. Sound selection is nearly perfect. Percussion sounds are just great. Great. Moongoat, just remind everybody your age in chat. I don't mean to continue to bring that up, but it is good context because this is actually, I want to commend you because the past few tracks that you submitted, as I can remember, what I was remembering is that those tracks needed refinement, right? That they were kind of a little bit all over the place. This track, however, shows that you are moving towards a more focused direction and you are definitely playing to the strengths. So like probably the first minute of this track is great. Great arrangement, great sound selection, everything. There's the part where it goes to the chopped section, which is where I got a little worried. Let me bring that back for a second. Is it here? Where is it? Yes, that part. I was a little worried here. I was a little worried that we were chopping for the sake of chopping and that the track was going to go off the rails after that. But that perfect amount, that little section where you take the actual beat and it gets chopped was actually a perfect execution of that. From that back. It's not chops for the sake of chops. And then you did a perfect transition back into the normal groove. That was well done. The part that sticks its head out to me as like brings the track quality way down is the live guitar part. First of all, I'll say the guitar is not quite in tune. Second of all, it's recorded in too loud so that we get a crackly peaking sound. And you've got that kind of wah or phaser on there that is not contributing to the rest of the track. So I think it's an issue with you kind of haven't nailed down how to record guitar in and mix it well. So that's a task for you. Learn more about recording your guitar and mixing it well into tracks. Then later you take a similar approach where we get another live instrument, the bass. Now, mix-wise, I think the bass can be a little bit better. Musically, I think it's great. Because you built that part around the bass, which I think is really cool. Really well done on the bass. I think a little more research on how to get that bass to really be sounding good. I assume you did like a direct line in recording. But that's a really great bass line. Just try to do a little research on how to get more out of your bass in that recording situation, and I think you'll be great. But the bass line, I would just eliminate the section with the live guitar. Just only have the live bass section. And then I'd say the track goes a little longer than it needs to. However, I think overall this track is really great. It has a lot of really great elements. Recording line in guitar and line in bass, you can find a million tutorials that can show you how to get that guitar, how to get that recording situation to sound good. But it is a unique recording situation where you have to take special care with recording guitars that way, I guess is what I'll say. So there's lots of good stuff out there. I see Bishop recommending Guitar Rig. Yes, that's a good one. If you do have Ableton Live, they have their amp, cab, and pedal devices, which are like kind of good for basic sounds, but don't overdo it, right? Like the bass sounds good because it's kind of just like a clean bass sound. The guitar, one of the things contributing to the guitar sounding a bit amateurish is the fact that it has that phaser wah on it. So it's like, combine that with a slight lack of the mixing knowledge there, it just kind of makes a mess. So keep things simple until you have the skill to make it more complicated, I guess. But that was a very good track. Thank you, Moon Goat, for submitting that. We're going to keep moving. Dot key. White Whisker is in the house. White Whisker, we actually just rolled with it, and we already listened to your track because I messed up the start time of the stream today, and I didn't want to penalize people for not being here because of my mistake. So I hate both of them, Ted. I hate both of them. Launch Mini and Akai MPK Mini, I hate both of them. They're the worst. I actually am never going to use a MIDI controller again. Hi, Beisha. to be on this track. Yeah, I think the track sounds great. It's a beautiful track. Perfect for the genre and everything that it's going for. I think we could have had a little better outro than just a fade out there, but it's sounding good. I think there's the one like layer of feedback I have is the main sample, which let me listen closely again. Like the main chords, like they might be like a little bit loud. I'm on the edge with that. I'm not 100% sure. But everything's kind of cool. You have these elements that blend together really nicely. I think one thing that could bring it to the next level would be like just a little bit of a solo element at the end. Maybe that's just more my style or whatever. But just a little extra something at the end. Something subtle, but one more melodic element here to kind of bring us to the finish line could be cool. Or if you want the whole thing to just be vibe, that's fine too. Rotke, if you put this on Spotify, obviously great fit for the Lo-Fi Loft playlist. Well done. I have basically not a lot of notes on that one. It's a good jam. Thank you for that submission. Ice Jotan. Ink Brain. Ooh. It's a big one. It's like a good Drake beat. Kind of lost steam in the second half. Really strong intro because the introduction to this world of sound is really nice. Got that pitch down tape stop effect. And then we're in the world, right? But then there's not much change later. Yes, we get the swapping out of different elements and everything, but eventually it gets to a point where everything's competing with other elements a little too much. We get that melodic element, but then it's suddenly kind of competing against that brassy. That element could have been brought back to the background. That kind of stays as loud as it is the whole time. And if it's not always going to be the focus, it can be brought back pushed back into the background, because that is more of an environmental element than it is like a focus point, I think, even though it is a great sound. Yo, Melissa Wood, welcome to the community. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
The hats are great. I think there is something beautiful about these sort of like big spacey synth elements with not a ton of high end, with a big spacey reverb on it. Plus these super dry, clean, like hi-hat and drum sounds. I think the juxtaposition of those two things works really, really well. And the drum production on this does go crazy. So to me, it's an arrangement issue. If it's going to be just a standalone instrumental, I think it needs a little more to keep the instrumental, interesting throughout. But I also think it could really, really work with a top line, a rapper, a singer, something like that. That could also help it. And when the vocal is doing the work of making the track interesting throughout, you don't have to worry so much about the arrangement. But if it is going to be a standalone instrumental, it's something to think about. Thank you for that submission, Jotan. That was a great submission. Is that your first submission, my friend? If it was, great job. Next up, I'm dying. We have next NG. Let's hear NG. And y'all, I have not reminded everybody, but if you hear a track that you like, please go follow the artist. Show them some love or connect with them on the Instagram. Not on the Instagram, on the Discord. Beautiful, gentle beat here. Oh, I'm logged in so I can follow people. I didn't even realize that. How does SoundCloud work? Oh. How do I get out of this screen? Oh, I can do this? This track perfectly aligns with some of the playlists I follow on YouTube, where it's like nostalgic video game beats, relaxing. It's like chilling in Pallet Town, chill mix. I think this snap should be on the 2 and the 4, not on the downbeat. Just saying. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bow beats.
Bow beats in the chat.
I could collect 15 quest items in a 2D game to this all day for sure. Yes. Beautiful track. This hits on a specific niche for me. The video game relaxing type beats. I mean, it's got that field recording in the background, which usually I'm like, should the field recording be running through the whole thing? Maybe not. I think it kind of fits this. I think maybe for me in my music, if I'm going to keep a field recording through a whole track, which I don't often do, it's louder at the intro and outro, and during the middle, the main part of the beat where I want the focus to be on the musical elements, I do volume automation so that it's still there in the background, it's just lighter. And then when I want to bring more focus to it in a intro, a bridge, or an outro, usually I automate it to come back up. But NG, you haven't submitted in a while. I'm so happy that you did submit this go around and that you shared this with us. This sounds great. Keeping things minimal and light is definitely effective. This is a great example of that. I would almost like to try to make a track like this as an exercise, because I tend to just pile on and try to go bigger, which is not always necessary. But even those scoops up in the melody. I love that. That goes to the playful nature, whereas in another type of track, having melodic notes blend over each other like that wouldn't make as much sense. NG, if I could give a piece of advice for this collection of sounds that you've used, I would save it as a template and potentially compose a bunch of tracks with this collection of sounds. Almost make like we had the person during Beattober that created a mock video game soundtrack, Donkey's World. You could essentially create a soundtrack for a fictional game, or next level, compose a bunch of tracks like this, find people that are making games that need soundtracks, connect with them. I'm sure they would love to have this kind of music in their game. Easy, easy, easy. Thank you, NG, for that submission. And shout out to Bo Beats for jumping in the chat. Thank you for jumping in here, buddy, and saying hello. If y'all don't know Bo Beats' channel, I'm sure 99.9% of everybody in this chat right now will know Bo Beats' channel. But if you don't, go give him a sub. Lots of great synth and music content. Let's keep on going. We have next up Will Smith, YouTube username Will Smith. Mini log stuff here. Thanks for hanging out, Eric. Hopefully we can hear your track next time. I think it's I'm not seeing the connection between the music and the artwork, but Benji, welcome to the community. Here is this track is going to have to work hard to justify its 3-minute length, I think. So let's see what happens around this midpoint to keep us going. Okay. that talk boxy synth melody at the end was really cool too. Approach, thank you for submitting this track. I mean, the reason I said like at about a minute in, it's like, all right, where's this track going? It's gotta kind of justify its existence. It can't just be this, because to be honest, I kind of expected it to just be this the whole time. But my expectations were shot down, because Approach did a great job making this just a really cool epic track that pushed on for the duration, where we have this kind of middle section that is drumless but still builds up tension with these intense synth sounds. Just absolutely like wall of sound, beautiful synth sounds. Then on top of that, once the beat comes back in, we get these beautiful melodic elements. Listen to this part. That part is perfect, because what you expect is you expect that melody to be repeated. And it doesn't. And it introduces that little pluck sound. So it's all these like playing with your expectations without doing too much craziness, like bravo Approach. One thing that I will say, piece of feedback for this track is, like I said, the synths are sounding mean. The synths are sounding cool, chunky, thick, all of the above, right? The drums are not matching that energy, in my opinion. I think, first of all, getting a little more oomph out of that kick drum would be good. And also a bit of like just general saturation in general on the drums could go a long way, so that that beefiness of the synths matches the beefiness of the drums, and they can kind of gel together a bit better. Maybe that's master processing, where everything gets a bit saturated, or maybe it is specific to the drums. Maybe it's both. I don't know. But a little more grit on the drums would help, I think, help it match the power of the synths there. But great. It is a little bit jarring to switch gears. We went from NG's track, which was like peaceful video game lo-fi track, to this one. But I think it's cool that we have this community where a bunch of people are making a bunch of different types of beats. And I have seen a couple new members come through before we get on with Quirky Beats' track. Let me just thank Benji and GA. Welcome to the community. As well as Melissa Wood. I can't remember if I thanked you, but thank you. Welcome to the community. If you are just tuning in, we do these track review streams pretty much every month. And if you are looking to get feedback on a track that you're working on, or if you want to just showcase some of your music that's already released, this is a great time for that. I will also say that if you just joined and you're looking to get into the Discord, type !new member, all one word in chat, and that will give you an article or instructions, I should say, on how to join the Discord. The number one thing that people mess up when trying to join the Discord is they connect the wrong YouTube account to their Discord account. Make sure you connect the correct YouTube account, the one that you are using right now to chat, because that is what your membership is tied to. We have to link your YouTube to our YouTube to Discord, and we get link automatically. I think what happens is as soon as you link your YouTube to your Discord, you are pretty much automatically in the server. What's up, Bobby Limes? Thanks for tuning in. And Zello, member for 6 months, VIP member. Thank you for the 6 months. Really appreciate it. It's getting a bit late for me here, so I might not be able to stick around with all of you right now. So I just hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy what I done this time. Yeah, we are chugging away, getting through the tracks. But I think actually that is a good moment. We've been live for about 90 minutes, right? And we just had a couple new members. I think we have to close off submissions for today. Otherwise, I won't be able to make it through all of them in a timely manner and with the attention and concentration that they deserve. So let's close memberships. If somebody can type in submission closed in chat for me, that would be great. If somebody in Discord could also type submissions closed in bold, that would be great as well. And then let's get right into Quirky Beats track. But NG says, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know it's been a long time, but I was scared to submit, to be honest. And thank you guys for your kind words. It won't be the last time I submit. Inshallah. Inshallah to you as well. NG, thank you for that submission. It was so great to see you. Thank you for your support and supporting the channel and sharing your great music with us. Quirky Beats, let's get this going. the way, I said submissions closed, but if you like are already a member and you didn't type it in the Discord yet, you could still do that. I boosted the volume for a track earlier, but then I forgot to turn it back down. Cool. Quirky Beats, what an uplifting, like, powerful track. It's like more intense than some of the music you've submitted before, which is cool. I love that synth. That synth that's happening, that is super wide, is great. And this is like a upbeat, like a bit of a faster tempo, I think, too. I love the rhythms and I love the crispiness of the drums too. I would for sure say check levels on this, check mix levels, because some of those brighter elements, like they might not need to be as loud, and especially some of the FX sounds, the risers and things like that, they were coming out a little bit loud to me, and they don't really need to be because they're sitting well on top of everything else frequency wise. But it's such a meaningful track, and the great use of the guitar too. Right, so like if I lower the volume on this section and I listen super low, I can get it to a point where I basically only hear that riser, right? So that's one thing I try to do when I'm checking a mix. Like if you listen to it super low, what are some of the only elements that you could hear? Should those be the loudest elements? That's the question, you know? If it were my track, I'd be throwing in some vocal stuff here and there. Vocal samples and stuff. Of course, that doesn't have to be your style. It was supposed to be a lo-fi track, but I heard more of a house type style, so it did a little remix of the original. That's super cool, and I could definitely see that. It sounds great. I don't know, it's making me move, so I think that's good. Yeah, for some reason the Vox didn't come through when I bounced it. Oh, there was vocal on it? Interesting. Cool. Quirky Beats, well done. That was refreshing. Cara is next. Won't be able to make it to the stream, but we'll watch the recap. It's a rough idea, not mixed, not mastered. On a Sunday afternoon. Well, it's a Saturday morning, but we can pretend. Okay, what are we getting here? As we listen to this, I know you're watching in the recap. Vibe-wise, it's cool. This is a bright, sunny Sunday afternoon type beat. I for sure get that vibe. What I'll say is, there's two elements that are like significantly filtered. This lead sound that we're hearing right now. Okay, we've lost both of those filtered elements, which was the vocal sample and that lead sound. And right now, we're grooving on a Sunday afternoon. But hearing that filtered sound makes me anticipate that the filter is going to be opened, and it doesn't seem like the filter is going to open. Like the vocal sample never having the filter come off feels unresolved. Guitar chops are good. Guitar chops are good. The drums are good. Bass line is bouncy. Cool ending too. Yeah, so like where that filter problem comes to a head is like here there's two, you have the vocal and the lead both like in this mid-range filtered mode. I would swap that lead sound, and the last piece of feedback I have is be very deliberate with your melodies. I guess that melody's pretty good. But yes, that sound selection is the thing I have the issue with, the filtered sounds. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty bouncy Sunday afternoon beat. So keep going with that. On a Sunday afternoon. It is a great use of that sample. Thank you, Cara, for the submission. All right, you guys are stressing me out in chat, GA and Benji. First of all, triple check that you linked to the correct Google account. I promise we see people struggle with this all the time. They have linked the wrong Google account. The next thing you're going to do, after you're sure you've done everything correctly, is exit out of Discord, close Discord completely, and reopen it. don't panic. I promise. If you follow those directions to a T, you'll be in the server. Cassie A says, huge fan and finishing up your music production and theory playlists. Do you do a cohort-based class? Would be cool to learn more advanced things you couldn't fit into those. Casey, sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Your best bet is becoming a member of the channel, because I don't offer any cohort-based classes. However, we do have, which let me show this off for a minute for all you people who became VIP members today or recently. We do have a collection of members-only videos, which includes members-only workshops. There are currently 5 members-only workshops posted, and that is kind of what you're looking for when you talk about more advanced topics and things like that. So if you do become a member, a VIP member, you can get access to all of these. So there's 5 2-hour or 2-hour plus workshops currently posted on some advanced topics. And then when we do them in the future, if you are still a VIP member, you can join those live. That's a great way to do like interactive back and forth, etc. Boz says they're super helpful. That's great. I'm glad you think that they were helpful. Yes, and other members can maybe speak to that. Sometimes it takes an hour for YouTube and Discord to sync. I would say that would be in the worst case scenario, but I don't think we've had many people have to wait an hour. Usually people are instantly in the server, which is why I point to double check user error as much as possible. Let's keep going. This is Boz's track, Fazo. Benji, I would assume in that case that you have connected the wrong Google account. Fazo, thank you. Fazo. Drum. What genre would we call this? If I wanted to find other music that sounded like this, what would I have to type in?
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Very cool. Yeah, I ask about the genre because like I hear elements of this popping up different places. It's not a type of music that I generally listen to, but I wanna have context for this because I hear a few people in the community making it, so want to know where it's coming from and what's going on with all that. And from what I see in the chat, the talk of genre, I just hate talking about genres in general, even though I did ask the question from a contextual point of view, not from a let me make sure this checks all the boxes of a genre. But this whole thing, funk isn't funk, you're mistaking it with drift. I want no part of any genre conversations. I don't like conversations that are like, this actually isn't this. It's actually this. And the reason it's this is because you're actually wrong. But Boz, Fazo, let's get back to your track here. First of all, it's a cool sound. That's what I'll say. It's cool. It's smooth. The drum production on this is fantastic. I love the ghostly elements. I love the B section, which is just a mood setter because it combines these like trappy elements plus almost like field recording elements, sound designy stuff.
You are now about to witness the strength of street.
That little drum fill too is mixed nicely where it's not like in your face, but it's still there. I don't love this vocal style. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but if another reason I asked for context is because if that's what everybody's doing, then I'm not going to be like, oh, these vocals are produced poorly. It's like, no, that's what they're supposed to sound like. So used your Korea field recordings for the atmosphere. Love to hear that. I love to hear that. Volpix mentions the mastering. Yeah, I think in general, mix-wise and as a finished piece, it's got a great overall sound. It's so weird. It's like that trumpet plus those bells. It is unique, and it's because I'm not so familiar with the genre. But Boss, thank you for submitting that. Like I said, please go make sure you give a follow to all the artists today. I am logged into SoundCloud. I can't believe that. Show support to all the artists. Seems to be questions about the .223. Where does the title come from? Thank you, Boss, for that submission. Well done. Looking forward to hearing more of that. Essie says it's just work in progress. Let's hear what it sounds like. Mainly focused on a better intro. Other areas need improvement. Yo, Wislow, welcome back. Thank you for becoming a huge
supporter.
Crazy. Thank you, Wislow. It is a bit hard to switch gears, but this piano is beautiful. The pacing so far is great. Motif is motifing good. Wait, is that my field recording too? Thank you, Wizzle. Are you all actually able to read the shirt? I can't tell on my screen if it's like readable. Essie, beautiful track. I hear you saying work in progress. I gotta find that spot with the field recording though. That I have to listen to this. I'm sorry, 100 times. Very curious if that came from my career field recordings or not. I can't 100% tell. The more I listen to it, I think no. But so Essie, you say you're working on the intro. The intro sets up the track. Beautifully. We have the, oh, it says Sweet Dreams. Got it. The intro sets up the track with just straight ahead piano plus field recording. I don't know what else you might add to it. I think there's something about keeping things simple. I assume, Essie, that you come from a piano background, being that this track is piano based. So it probably sounds like you probably wrote like piano and then layered it with a beat. You've got the bass there. I think the percussion sounds you chose are great. There's the hint of like synth pads in the background, right? But I don't, in my opinion, I don't know what else I would add to this. Like perhaps some like bells, some like brighter glockenspiel, a little more instrumentation. Like, I don't know instrumentation wise if anybody else hears anything specific, but to me it's a little bit like, if it sounds good, like don't push it too far. Because the piano stuff is great. The piano on its own, like you're using the piano well because you're building, you've got chords and then you've got melody on top of that. Then that melody develops and becomes more dense. You know, that's dope. DJ Av McCree in the chat. Bishop says more kick. Let's see. Maybe, but I kind of like the gentle kick there. I think it fits. Yeah, Essie, I don't know. It sounds close. Like if you get this on Spotify, I think it'd be a great fit for Lo-Fi Loft playlist. I think it's good to go. GA, I'm so happy to hear that you have got in the server. Please in chat, share what made it work so that we can help people next time. Did you literally just have to wait and it took a little longer to sync? We need to know that, so please let us know. General Gem the Jet is up next. Been a member of this channel for a year. I cooked up for today's track review, and I'm looking forward to hearing what y'all have to. Started producing in 2017. All right, General Gem the Jet's got a lo-fi beat, rainy. Been a member for a year. Thank you for your year of membership. Happy anniversary. How about that? All right, so that is good to know. Nice drums. I don't know, is this... Never mind, I was going to have a genre argument with myself. Av, thank you. You did not have to do that. I appreciate that. Told you, Av, you did not have to do that. Do I smell bad? Yes, I do. The smell of the shirt. I appreciate you, Av. Thank you for the gifted memberships. This should come through. Hopefully YouTube ain't being slow today. General Gem the Jet, this is kind of your most clean sounding or like professional sounding beat yet, I think, perhaps. The drums, I love the drums, they're a highlight for me. And the choice of samples too. I don't know, sometimes it's like the simpler the better, you know? It's like the sign of an amateur music, of an amateur beat, is when people take things a little too far. They do a little bit too much. There's too much going on, right? But in this, there's a few different things going on sample-wise. But they all fit together, right? You've got like that reverse guitar stuff happening. Ghostly lead on top is great. The one thing I'll say is like maybe the drums are a bit too loud. They are for sure the loudest thing. I don't think you have to lo-fi them out, but I do think just bringing them down a few decibels will make everything blend together a little bit better. Bishop is shouting out 16 levels, which is Av's company. Yes, go check out 16 levels. General Jam the Jet, congrats to you. Thank you for that submission. It is a somber but still grooving beat. Like I can imagine walking down the street in the rain to this beat. Maybe a section where the drums do a bit of, where there's like a bit of a stutter effect, performance effect or something could be interesting in this. But otherwise, like, I think everything's gelling together great. Good job, General Jam the Jet. And that's just fun to say. General Jam the Jet. We have, let's look through this Discord for a second, folks. Thank you to everybody who has become a member today or everybody who has been supporting the channel as a member. I really appreciate you all. How many more do we have to go? We have 1, 2, we have a first beat coming up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, that one's fine. 13. 13 more. We might have a 14th because I know there were some members that were waiting for the thing to sync up. GA got in. Benji, let us know if you got in as well. And let's do this. Been a member for several months, says A Cloned Sheep. Finally got a track in time for review. It's my third, I think it's supposed to be third track ever. Some context, I'm a string musician, new to synth piano drums production, hasn't been mastered. That's no worries. Let's go over here to SoundCloud. Let's listen. Zonification, that is a good point. We should do that as a workshop next, talking about arrangement. Jeff, that comment was almost off the rails. There's interesting elements here. Mix is a little odd though. Let's see what happens when this drop happens. It's interesting, right? Because that synth is coming out on top of everything else, but I'm still sitting here in suspense hoping that the filter comes off everything else, you know? It's similar to when we were listening to Cara's track where those elements were filtered off. A filter sometimes implies that the filter's going to come up because we so often hear that as an effect. So that is kind of what happens when you just leave the filter on. It's like it's an unsatisfied feeling as a listener. Hey. Get out of there. Come on, this way. Come on. Yeah, you're gonna sit right there in front of my screen. Yeah, so it's interesting. I think it sounds too filtered. I agree with that. So come off it as the song progresses. Not even necessarily as a song progresses. Like I think the filter is a tool for, you know, build up sections. And if you're not like, yes, you could say you're building up the entire track, but eventually there should be tension and release, and you can have tension and release multiple times in a track. So the filter should probably come off in the intro. Like the whole thing sounds like an intro, if I'm being honest. The whole thing sounds like an intro. There's never a release of that tension. Which if this were an ambient track with like no drums or anything, this was sort of just like a tonal ambient piece, that's fine, but it's clearly not, right? Like it's clearly supposed to have a driving beat, but it all just sounds like intro. So the sounds are cool, but it would be cool to see it executed like as an actual track. But thank you for that submission, my friend. Appreciate it. The next one we have is somebody's first beat. Thank you all for hanging out with us today. We do these monthly track reviews for the community. If you have not become a member yet, submissions are closed for today, but there's lots of other perks to membership. So if you already became a member today, I would check the community tab on the channel because there's a bunch of free downloads there for members. We are, of course, joined in studio by a guest today. Let me turn that camera on and then... Oh, darn, it's not even plugged in properly. Let's see if we can plug it in properly. One moment. This. Plug the power. It's all a mess here today. That is me that smells bad. That's crazy. You know what? Let's listen to this next track while we do this. I want y'all to be able to see our guest in studio. You getting up after I'm doing all this work for you? Thank you for the 8 months. Tetralogy. What happened? Let's run that back. First beat from B just started 5 days ago. This is what I'm talking about. 5 days ago. All right, so for a producer who's been producing for 5 days, first of all, shout out to you for starting this journey. A new idea that you've started. So the things that I'll point out is you are nailing the like key elements of music, right? You've got your beat, you've got a bass line, you've got a chord progression. You even did like an interesting drum fill. So for your first 5 days as a music producer, shout out to you. Good job, B. So the next thing is like, what you want to examine now is song structure, right? You've got some good musical ideas. You want to kind of plot this out in arrangement view, or I don't know if you're using Ableton Live, but whatever DAW you're using, you want to start to plot this out, and you want to potentially look at some songs that you really like and analyze their structure. How does the intro, how long is the intro? How long is the verse? How long is the pre-chorus, the chorus, etc.? And start to really think about, with your musical ideas, where do they fit into that structure? Now, what that will cause is like, oh, okay, my intro and my verse sound good because it's all this chord progression. Then I brought in the bass line, then etc. Then you get to another section and you're like, I can't just do the same thing again. So then you just take that instrument that you're playing chords on and you come up with a different chord progression. Don't go crazy and go out of key or something. Rearrange some of the chords you've already used. Figure out what are those common chord progressions that others are using. We've got lots of content on the channel for that. For like music theory stuff, how to analyze that stuff. But that is the next step, is to think about how you can arrange these ideas. Of course, right now you're learning the mechanics of the DAW. So that will be like your biggest priority, as well as making good music. But eventually, as you get more comfortable with the DAW, you will start to think about what kind of music you actually want to be making, right? Like, oh, I want this specific sound. How do I get this specific sound? And that will come with time. So congrats on your first 5 days, and thank you for being so brave in submitting. I don't think we've had like first-time beat makers, but I don't think we've ever had somebody be like, oh, I've only been making beats for 5 days, but thank you. Feel free to like continue posting in the Discord, talking to people in the Discord, etc. We're all here to support you, and we hope to see your progress. That was awesome. Like I said, folks, we got people that have been producing for years, months, and literally days. Cockd falling out of time, unreleased. Let's hear it. I'm gonna blast this. I'm gonna take a bathroom break. Don't worry, I can hear it from the bathroom. Time for the drop. just my view. What's good, Jen? The track is like pretty epic, right? But this melody is just like drilling into my brain. Hand pan sound at the end is cool. Yeah, for me, like, I love the song structure and everything works very well, and it gets more and more epic as the song goes on. That melody, though, we got to do something about it. Dun, 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 dun. It's a bit louder than it needs to be, and it's just like a bit too predictable and repetitive. When stuff like that happens, it's cool. So like maybe the melody doesn't necessarily have to change that much, but maybe where my mind went to is some like performance effects eventually down the road, like some glitchy effects, like glitch it out a little bit. But this is also me not having context into this genre too. So maybe it sounds like a perfect example of a melody in this genre, and that's how it's supposed to be. But that's the only place my mind went. It seems like a lot of you really enjoyed that track, so shout out. Kakti, go give a follow if you can, as usual. Unreleased, people want to know when you're going to drop the track, my friend. The people want to know. Doug Tor is up next. This is very suspenseful, very tense. Okay. I was hoping for something bigger there, but let's hear. How do we feel about it, chat? I'm just like a little unsure. Like, I don't think that I would listen to this. I don't know who the audience is, I imagine you had a lot of fun making this. It seems like very theatrical, like it's like a audio drama, but it doesn't have a story with it. So like, is there a way to combine this with story or something? Well, you know what it is. I think you find a singer for this. You find a singer that can sing over this and tell the story like in a very melodic way. I think, right. So like the idea that it's about prisoners on death row. The only person who's ever going to know that is you. Unless this gets combined with something else. But to make it like not so much like a musical, but to add the story in via lyrics would be the solution to that. Because it does have this theatrical sort of rock opera vibe. Ooh. Cool. Yeah, there's moments of that work great, and I think somebody else mentioned visuals as well can help. But sorry, that was so loud. These sections where the guitar comes in, especially this last section, fantastic. Yeah, for me, I want more of that. Because that only really kicks off in this tiny little section that is not even 30 seconds. That's beautiful. The intro was super well done in building up tension. But what happens is that tension gets built up, and the release here is kind of a little bit of a letdown. It kind of like puts the brakes on. It's kind of like we were slowly accelerating during this intro to the point where like, oh shoot, we're going 100 miles an hour, and then it's like instantly slam on the brakes. Chill wave possibly, yes, but with the context or vocal. Well, here's a solution. It's like you have these faster or like more energized sections. If it was an energized section here and then came back down, that would make sense. Like if the chiller vibe was more of a B section rather than immediate, something like that. I don't know. I keep coming back to the idea. Maybe Ductor. Oh, I didn't mean to click on your name. I don't like SoundCloud. Another thing to consider. Well, no, I'll just point you in a direction. Go check out a band called Forgive Durden. They created they have like some kind of, I don't know how you would describe Forgive Durden. First of all, they've done an actual musical, which is sort of like a rock opera. But before they did a musical, they have a really nice album that is kind of like post-rocky, but I don't know. Forgive Durden. Check out the band. Check out their first album. Let me tell you exactly which one. So this album is Razzia Shadows. It is a musical Wonderland, though. Check out that and see what you think of that vibe. I don't know. Just a suggestion. Some of the guitar stuff you were doing towards the end was sort of reminding me. The vibe was sort of reminding me. It's not exactly, but it's a good reference point, maybe. Lumo in Discord. People got... So what's up with this, folks? People that have a Discord name that is different from their artist name that is different from their YouTube name. Somebody tell me how that works in your brain. Anyway, honey. on behalf of a friend. Okay. All right, the volume change is an absolute no. Musically, it's effective, but you can't have it be. I'm just gonna stop right there. You can't have it go from this volume to that volume. You're just gonna piss off all your listeners, and then you're gonna be like, what the hell? Why did I even put this music on? You can have dynamics. The range cannot be like that. You're gonna blow somebody's eardrums out. It's not responsible. And what it does is actually like really cool music, but it kind of ruins it. Yeah, GA, it would surprise you too if I typed some code into chat that made your computer explode, but you wouldn't be too happy about it, right? Like, surprise is not always good. Is that a mixing engineering issue? We don't have to overcomplicate the terminology. It's just a mixing issue. That synth is just way too loud. Yeah, all the ideas are good. The music is good. That dynamic issue is what will kill it, and will have nobody want to listen to it. They will turn it off as soon as it gets to that super loud point. The SK. So like just a quick with peace and love message here. The reason SK that I'll never review music from a person who jumps in chat like this is because here's what happens. We're all chilling together, listening to each other's music, supporting each other, having a good time. We're in it for the long haul, kind of like engaged in the whole process. But people like the SK, other people have done this too throughout today's chat, just jump in, don't like introduce themselves, don't look at anything else that's going on, and all they see is an opportunity for themselves. An opportunity to get their music played. They think that it's going to serve them some benefit. Maybe you do actually want my feedback. I would reckon that probably you don't actually want my feedback. You probably just want to get your music played in front of more people, which is fine. But what you got to realize is that it's a big red flag for me if you type that into chat when there's a submissions closed thing at the top of the chat and everybody else is talking about stuff. So Andrea here says, it's all about community. You're 100% right. It is all about community. And if you all want to find like any success in this music scene, I would highly, highly recommend you avoid as much as possible doing anything like this, being like this at all. And that is not to shame you, hardcore, the SK, because like I don't think you're a bad person or anything. But I think it is just a reframing mindset that you have to not look at everything as an opportunity for you, even though the real opportunity for you is like jumping in and joining this musical community, a bunch of people who are all just like you, trying to make their own music, trying to get it heard, trying to do better as like at-home music producers, etc. Joining that community, becoming a part of this conversation, part of this group is the benefit for you, not the getting your song played on stream. Even though that is a benefit for some, doing it one-off, ignoring everything else that's going on and just jumping in being like, react to my song, that's not going to be helpful for you in your future. Don't even have to necessarily provide value to others. Like, you could just be in here hanging out, having a good time, you know? Like, I'm sure there are lots of other streams you can go to that you can pay $40 to get your track reviewed, you know? All right, Faded is in here. We saw Faded earlier. I think this could have lyrics on it, and I cannot confirm the content
all I feel lately.
Probably explicit though, so watch out.
Can't get out, I'm sick of this mental state I'm in. My anxiety is making my patience thin. I'm trying to take it all in, but I have to take it all on the chin. There's demons within, playing with my head until it spins. Weight on my shoulder like it's a gym. I'm locked in with these thoughts, mind's going back and forth like a court. I can't abort with a fake passport. Need a new identity like an escort. I have no fight left within. I'm running away from all these problems I'm in. Forgive me for all of my sins. To all the people that I've hurt, I deserve all the dirt like a chip.
I spend too much time feeling sorry for myself. I feel like I left my ambition on a shelf. I start with my demons, they don't care about my health. And I neglect myself and only care about the wealth. I only ever dream of riding out of this town. I don't turn back, but I leave with a frown. I know that the devil gonna hunt me down. Flip my life up and turn my dream round to a nightmare, not fair. Talking on a blunt here, lyrics are poetic, got me thinking that I'm Shakespeare. Man, so badly beaten, now you know that I am sincere. Spitting how I feel, cause I'm really trying to shake fear. I make clear that I drown myself in cheap beer. You hear that I never had a career. Oh dear, now my bills are looking severe. This year, I'ma take it to the frontier.
I want out of this town, best believe that. Eva, never coming back, and I mean that. This shit's whack, and I need to get back on the right path before I overdose on the drugs, but I like that. I like the feeling when I feel goes, it feels like I'm reeling my feelings from a past that I know the most memories I forgot. I'm trying to line them up like Dr. Dot, trying to remember if I was a member of my family. I guess not, I was pushed out. It's no wonder my mind's always full of doubts. After all the fun that I'm all worn out. After all the rain, all I feel is pain, and I'm drained. The blood stains all over me, propane. It's about to be over, be bye for now. Leave forth, talk over me.
Cool. Bishop said man's telling the story. Exactly. Yeah, I think the lyrics are obviously the strongest part of this. Faded, as usual, bringing the heat. Go follow Faded's channel. Shout out to Faded's friend Fat Josh as well. I think they paired very well. I guess like the lyrics and the rapping is probably the main focus. I think you did great with that. I would say, could we have switched up the beat a little bit more during Fat Josh's verse? A moment where there's vocals but like no backbeat or super filtered out, that kind of thing. But thank you, Faded. That was a great submission. Like, I can't really give much feedback for that other than, as usual, great rapping, great storytelling via rapping. I'd probably have to listen to it 5 more times to really follow along with the lyrics. But the quality's great. People who dig that kind of music dig that music. Ballpark and Maj Jafar, thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the fam. Ballpark Frank joining VIP. Maj joining the community. Welcome, welcome. Submissions are closed today, as it says right up here. So thank you for becoming members. Y'all will be able to submit music next time. But if you did become a member today, just now, whenever, make sure you go to the community tab on the channel. Check that out because there's a bunch of free downloads. There's also a playlist of members-only videos, which you will find as well. Thank you all for hanging out. We also had a super chat come in. Let's say, first of all, $10 super chat. Thank you, Swayam Shri. Much appreciated. $10 super chat. Thanks for talking to me during the 24-hour live stream and answering my question. Love your work, man. All the best to you and a Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Artria sent me this great New Year's card, which I don't have in reach, but I'll show it off on socials. All right, next up, we got Pushkin 4. We got a few more submissions today. Kick back, relax, grab a beverage, listen to all this independent music from around the world. Here we are. Let's check it out. Cactus Bliss by Calico. again. There's a lot of really cool elements to this beat, including this instrument right here that I really love. It's a kalimba sound. There it is. What? Interesting outro. Very interesting outro. Here's what I'll say. First of all, obviously I think the sound selection is beautiful, but even right from the outset, you don't really hold anything back, which means pretty much from the beginning, we're getting a lot of the very likable elements. We're getting the beautiful piano, we're getting the drums, we're getting the percussion instruments. Then we go right into the section with the kalimba instrument, right? So like right in the first, where are we at? Minute of the song, probably. By the time the first minute of the song is over, we have pretty much heard everything already. But then the track goes on for another minute and 24 seconds, right? You do a good job of bouncing back and forth between the sections, A and B, right? But at the very core of it, the material you have here is about a minute of material. You could better arrange it so that the elements come in more slowly, that they build up a bit more. But then, on the other hand, instead of just going A, B for the whole song, you could potentially build a brand new B section that is just something completely new, a proper bridge maybe. And the one thing that I notice is that the drums, they happen throughout the entire track. They never go away. You never give us a section without drums, which does keep us in the same groove the whole time, but doesn't give us a chance to miss the drums. So I'm not saying you have to do any sort of big grandiose build up, but one section towards the middle or towards the 3/4 section that is sort of like a bridge that gives us a more atmospheric thing, maybe allows the instruments to be a bit more free. We're not locked into the melodies and the loops that we're just hearing, would breathe more life into the arrangement, you know? So always think about that with your arrangements. Like, at which point have I literally heard all the material? And then how do I keep it interesting for the rest of the time, you know? Like, there's something interesting happening here at the end with that bass. And I do think it's cool to bring something in just for the outro. But maybe there's something there where that bass can happen earlier. I don't know. Something to think about. Thank you, Calico, for that submission. All right, next up, Zello. Still working on this, so it's an unlisted video. Hoping to finish it next week. I don't know if unfinished songs are up for feedback. Yes, unfinished songs, that's the perfect time to get feedback. Okay. City Pop. Heck yeah. Can you please list all the sounds that contribute to the city pop sound? I'm super interested. this is just, you nailed it. You nailed the vibe. You nailed the sound selection. The one thing I think I would change is it's got the tape hiss sound on it. Oh, wait, let's listen to this. Absolutely crushed it. Man, there's so much happening to contribute to that being awesome. But it's just awesome. What I was gonna say is the one thing I would change is the tape hiss in the background. Yes, that does give it a nostalgic sound, but I think it's a little bit too much. You can still have it there in the background. And then all your other sounds are still sounding like tape-ish. So you don't necessarily have to add tape noise for it to have a tape quality, right? So good. I love all of the submissions equally, of course, but I think this is my favorite submission of the day. I'm a big fan of, especially Japanese city pop. And this just nailed it. But that solo. So this is currently an unlisted video. You could, if you were crafty, just go into the Discord though and listen to it. Or if you're not even in the Discord, you could type this exact URL into your browser and listen to it if you did want to. But then the most important thing I think you can do in the Discord is harass Seis o Zello until they release this. Just saying. That was dope. Okay, we have a few more submissions to go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 submissions to go. 5 more tracks to listen to. Let's check it out. Let's keep it going. I need a break after this one. Yes, I agree. Okay, so now for something completely different. I hate when metal bands make their logo super hard to read. I think that's funny. Is the pasta supposed to be like a metal logo, like an analogy? That's funny. If that's the joke, that's funny. Oh, SoundCloud, I hate you. Josh West in the chat. Like the broken piano samples and synth happening. I think the kick I need a little more sub from. Okay. Kept it simple. It's kind of like lo-fi from outer space, right? Don't be nervous, Josh West. West is a great artist name, by the way. What I was going to say, it's a little depressing for me, but I like the way you built it. Yeah, I mean, I'm down for the sad, depressing tracks. So, like, it's okay for the music to be a bit depressing. Third track I've made since having Ableton. That's great. How can the drums better suit the mood of the music, right? How can the drums better match? I think they're pretty much there. I do like the drum selection. Other than the kick, I think we need a little more oomph. And then progression-wise, it's kind of like the same vibe throughout the whole track. There's no variation in that main chord progression at all. Something to think about. There's a bit of hi-hat there. I don't know. It's interesting. Learning drum compression. Good to know. I just love I think you did a good job on those synth sounds. I think if you lean into that sound and make that really a part of your sound, I think it'll be really cool. But I think getting a little more advanced with your arrangement and composition will be what takes it to the next level. So sound selection, good. General sensibility around sound and melody, good. But time to take it to the next level. We got Doodles, Rustic Doodles, the mellow lo-fi track. Thank you, Josh, for that submission. The guitar is singing 1 hour ago. Only 2 followers. There needs to be one more section here where the beat comes back in, and the beat and the guitar. Develop that guitar melody more, bring the beat back in, make the track like 30 seconds longer, I think. What do you all think? I wasn't predicting that. I was saying that's what it could be. Because that's the other part of arrangement. I know I talk a lot about people that make their tracks too long, and then sometimes it's like a track is too short because we want more of what you've given us. Sometimes the track is too long and you've overfed us. It's like, yes, okay, you've fed us this guitar line over and over and over again. I don't need to hear more of it. A guitar line like this that happens in this one section and then goes away. When it goes away, of course, it's replaced by the beautiful piano melody. It's layered with guitar, but it's not the same kind of guitar that's over here. It's like, okay, you gave us a taste of the good thing. Give us back the good thing, you know? Rustic Doodles, well done. Thank you for submitting that track. If you put it on Spotify, let us know so we can add it to the Lo-Fi Loft playlist. All right, Andrea, we gotta unpack this message that you've left here for your submission. I am a disaster producer with high hopes that I can improve. Not ready to give up, but all constructive feedback is welcome and much appreciated. By the way, I used the Nothing Vibes plugin purchase with TAETRO's discount in December. Heck yeah. Probably I overused it. Innocent beginner mistake. The first step is admitting. Right. Why does SoundCloud like look different every time I open it? Like, why does this one look like this and this one looks like this? I can't understand. Snickerdoodles, thank you for that last submission. Hello, Peter. Thank you for subscribing. Andrea, I don't think at all that you should be anywhere near thinking about giving up making music. I think this music is great, but I also think that context matters. What I will say is the end gets a little meandery. It loses its power at the end. However, the first nearly 2 minutes are a beautiful display of like being theatrical. You talk about the instruments being actors, and there's a venue for this, right? Not every track is made to be put on a Spotify editorial playlist or for you to just throw on in the background while you work, or even for you to just put on and listen to casually. Some music has its place, especially more dramatic music like this. My recommendation to you would be to like connect with contemporary dance artists, contemporary theater companies, potentially even independent filmmakers that are doing stuff more on the artsy side of things, because this could easily be a score. Like I think of a movie like Black Swan or something like that, right? That's what this evokes for me. A very chaotic montage scene where crazy shit is happening. Or a contemporary dance group that is going to put a visual to this and transform the musical characters into like physical characters on a stage. There is a place for this music, absolutely. I think you can refine the composition though, in that at the end it's like, what are we doing here at the end? You've lost the momentum a bit. From a production standpoint, don't overcompress your piano. But I do like the piano sound you used and the strings. And there's a place for this music, so keep making it. It's obviously different than anything else we've heard today. But I could say that for a number of tracks that we heard today. It's just different in a different way. Keep leaning into the orchestral, like dramatic stuff. Find the place where you can be successful in that. There are the places. There are the places. Thank you for that submission. We got a couple more songs to listen to. Subway Morning
This is
Vibe.
a Brooklyn-bound Q Express train. The next stop is Times Square, 42nd Street. Please stand clear of the closing doors.
Alright, the danger there. I do like the idea of using the subway announcement. However, that subway announcement thing has that tone, those tones, dun, 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 and that is clashing with the key of your music. I would just lob off that section of the announcement and just keep the spoken voice part. And I would also not use it twice. You use that in the intro, you're not allowed to use it again until the outro, or a bridge, or a place where it's really important. The visuals are also great. No.
This is a Brooklyn-bound
No,
Q
no,
Express
no, no,
train.
no.
The next stop, 34th Street, Herald Square. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
That is very important that you don't overuse that. That is like so important that is not overused. Something like that. There are other ways you can do transition sounds. Like, think about instead, like, I think the vibe is you want to go for the journey of riding the train, right? So instead, maybe use the sound, some Foley of the doors opening, or at least a sound that implies doors opening and doors closing. That would be a better transition sound. Something that doesn't call so much attention to itself. It's gonna happen again here.
This is 34th Street, Herald Square. Transfers available to the B, D, F, M, N, R, and W trains. Transfers available to the M34 Select Bus service. Connection is available to the PATH. This is a Brooklyn-bound Q Express train. The next stop, 14th Street, Union Square.
Okay, and then there's also the element of this track is a little bit longer than it needs to be, right? Like, we've got the basic no, I don't think the transposition will help that because it's not an intentional musical idea, right? It's just from a field recording.
This is 14th Union Square.
Perhaps you can make it fit, but I would just avoid it. I think it's not going to fit. Okay, but my point on this track is, like, we've had the announcement happen several times, which you're using it as a transition marker. Nothing happens different between sections. It's just the beat, the bass line, the keys, and the guitar, right? So this track could get its message across in 2 to 3 minutes, no problem. Certainly not 4 minutes, 30 seconds. There's not a musical reason for it to be 4 minutes long. I mean, it's 4 minutes long of the same bass line over and over again. However, it is a good bass line. Like, all these elements are good. The chords are good. The beat is good. The guitar is good. Develop them more and give your arrangement a shape. Talking a lot about arrangement today. But even like the mixing and stuff is pretty good. The one change I would make to the drums particularly is that snare sound. That beat is like hitting hard, where every other sound is playing pretty gently. And I think that's really important with percussion and lo-fi gentle music, is that we can find, if the sample was recorded like this, I hit the cup super hard, that has a different sound than if I hit the cup super soft. But if the sample, you're just using a sample, right? So like, you don't know, we don't necessarily think about that. How hard was this thing hit to make that sample? We just think, oh, it's a snare sound, but a snare sound of a snare that's played super gently versus a snare that's slammed on is two totally different things. So good track. Think about your arrangement. I think you, let me see, for the last year, diving in and creating lo-fi music, that's great. You've clearly put a lot of effort in. That is definitely evident. And you should definitely keep making these videos. I see you like, making these videos to mark as a series that highlights my progression in Ableton Live. Yes, that is great. You should keep doing that because you'll be able to see your progression. Sometimes it's hard to see our progression when we're just in it on our own. All right, we have one more track to listen to. Boris G, I'm sorry you're not able to become a member. It's not available in all regions. Some people have got around that by using a VPN, but it's out of my control, unfortunately. GA, who despite all odds finally got a submission in. We got a Lil Baby type beat. Closing things out today, this has been TAETRO hanging out for a track review stream. Stadium status. If you are a Lil Baby fan, I need to hear from you in the chat. I think it sounds pretty good. It's a type beat. I'm not familiar with Lil Baby's music, so like if I was, I could give you a better feedback, because what if this sounds nothing like Lil Baby? I would have no idea that. What if it sounds exactly like Lil Baby? I have no idea about that. But sound design wise, I would say the piano is very much like hammering along, and it's very clean sounding. I would think that once somebody's vocal got on top of this, some of that brightness on the piano might interfere, or the piano and the vocal might interfere. So you would have to work that mix wise. But that's not something you can really control until you get a top line on it. But yeah, make sure you're doing things to get your beats out there. Like, of course, somebody could type in Lil Baby type beat into YouTube and find this. But you probably want to be making content centered around, beat making and being a beat maker. That way more people know to come and find you if they want that. Should I lower the piano or trebles? Yeah, I think the piano would blend. Well, the drums are blasting too, so. But I think ultimately, I don't really know what the protocol is with people that make type beats. Like, I don't know if y'all are doing another mix once the vocals get put on it, or if it's just like it's done and the vocals just go on top. But yeah, you might want to, like, you might like spreading the piano widthwise to make room for a vocal in the center, you know, that's the kind of thing. Because you imagine the vocal's always going to be in the center. So even if you're composing and it's meant to have a vocal on it, you want to leave space, which is sometimes hard to do. But GA, thank you for that first time submission. Get yourself out there so people can find your beats. Do interesting stuff too. Like, you will not get a lot of attention just by posting a picture of an artist with the beat behind it. Like, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on whatever. There are lots of ways to market and get your beats out there. You see it every day on social media. Don't take the easy way and then wonder like, I wonder why nobody's finding my beats. Not saying that you're doing that. Of course, this is your first submission. I have no idea what you're doing. So, but I'll just put that out there because that's a lot of beginners get the beats out there. They're not really doing anything interesting to get attention on their beats, right? So, folks, we have made it through our submissions today. Can you believe it? I'm very proud of all of you, and I have to give a round of applause to everybody who submitted. Let me get some background chill music here. If you have any final questions today, I'll happily take them as we chill here. I'm so glad we were able to make this stream today, though. If my dad did not text me and be like, hey, is your stream starting, or did you set it to the wrong time, would have missed it completely. The problem was I was on the East Coast a little bit last week, which is why there was no stream on Thursday. There will be a stream this Thursday. And I scheduled the stream for 11 a.m., but I did that while I was on the East Coast. 11 a.m. East Coast time is 8 a.m. Pacific time. So I was not prepared to stream at 8 a.m., but after seeing that, we were able to bump the stream up to 9 a.m. So we've been live for 3 hours, just over 3 hours. And let me tell you, folks, lots of schemes happening for 2023. Lots of new stuff happening. I got a new video cooking. I'm just waiting for the sponsor to approve it. And that should be up on Tuesday because Tuesday is our upload day. A lot of interesting things potentially coming through for 2023 that I'm very excited to talk to you all about. But there's a lot of plates in the air, a lot of balls in the air that I'm trying to juggle and get everything just right. So thank you all, everybody who's a member supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. Everybody who's just a hang-in, who's subscribed and liked and shows up to the uploads and supports. That is really helpful too. I appreciate all of you. Thursday, we will be live making some music, checking out some cool things. I think I have a couple ideas of what I want to do. How often do we hold these reviews? They happen about every month, pretty much. I want to talk to members about that a little bit. But yeah, this is great. Everybody who just joined, introduce yourselves on the Discord, hang out, have a good time in the general hangout. I saw Wislow posting cute dog photos in there earlier. Am I wrong? Yes, I'm right. But yeah, introduce yourselves, start the conversation, have a great rest of your weekend, make some music. I'm working on a track that I'm really excited about. That's actually a holdover from Beattober. Rod says, best Ableton teacher on YouTube right here. Thank you. I appreciate that. TAETRO Tuesday's upload day. That's right. Fingers crossed that everything goes well with the video that I'm uploading, but I am excited about it. But yes, that'll be it. I will see you all on Tuesday for the new video. I will see you all on Thursday for the next live stream. Of course, I'll be on Twitter and Instagram between then. So links are in the description for that. Follow me there. Thank you, everybody. Reminder, if you became a member today, go to the channel and go to the community tab. There are free downloads within there for members. Check that out. But that is going to be it. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one. Bye.